Hi YouTube, it's me T5 Wilderness. Welcome to my channel and welcome to the first of this year's KTRT reviews, where I review a Korean transforming robot toy. And this month I've bought 3 Korean toys from G Market in a bulk order. And yeah, here's the first one. And yeah, it's from the Hello Carbot Samba toy line. It's a toy line. Wow, it's from it's season 11 of the Hello Carbot TV series, and it came out back in the last year, and they're running it through the winter. And apparently there's a new season 12 coming out in April, according to Brickbot. So yeah, I wanted to. There's something about this line that I quite like. I quite like the Samba Gimmick in this toy line, and I really wanted to get all the toys from this particular toy line before the new wave of toys comes in April, if that's such a thing. So this month I decided to buy 3 figures, and so I've made great inroads into the Hello Carbot season 11 toy roster. And today I am doing the first of 3 reviews you'll be getting this month, and it is on this guy. This is Hello Carbot Red Weiler. Now, before we get into the toy, we'll have a look at the box, and it's a typical box from the Hello Carbot Samba line. You've got the Red Weiler name here, and you've got these sort of arrows going round. You've got the blue arrow and the orange arrow. Comes with a chip. It's got Chatan down there. It's got the alt mode and then the robot mode there, and they're a tall, thin box. It's got writing on the top. On the back it has a little diagram that shows you the gimmick, the Samba gimmick, where you can interchange the Samba chunks or the Samba animals between the various figures in robot mode, but it also works in alt mode, which I will be demonstrating here. Anyway, fairly sizable box. It's got that cardboard egg box girdle type thing inside, and the comes with a set of black and white instructions, and the little chip which goes in the the activator watch that makes lights and sounds. Now I don't have it, I can't demonstrate it, but Brickbot, when he does a Hello Carbot toy review, he has the watch. He does all the demonstrations, which shows all the lights and the sound effects and the voice clips that they do. So yeah, so that's of no real interest to me, but it's a thing. If you've got the watch, you can do that. So now, before we get into obviously Red Weiler, and I'd just like to say now, Red Weiler, I love this guy's name. Red Weiler is such a cool name for a robot. I mean, red because he's a red fire engine, and Weiler, I mean, I looked it up in the Oxford Dictionary. Weiler isn't actually a name or a word, so it's a made up name, but it still sounds pretty cool. I mean, Red Weiler, it just, I love it. I think this guy's got one of the coolest, one of the best names ever applied to a Korean transforming robot toy. I just wanted to get that up front. Anyway, so was it last month or last year? I got my first figure from the Hello Carbot Samba line. I got Night Hopper, and of course in the thumbnail I spelt a name wrong. I put night as in medieval night rather than night as in night and day. And apparently there was too many P's in the word hopper, because it's hopper with 1 P, which is, when you hear it pronounced, it's hopper, hopper, hopper. 1 P is hoper, 2 P's is hopper, but I'm splitting hairs now. Yeah, so I got her. I mean, obviously she's missing the back doors, because that's where the syringe lives, and it makes the back doors on the ambulance mode. It's in the box up in the loft. I couldn't be able to get it down. Anyway, so yeah, it's an ambulance, and the whole point of this toy line is the back section of the vehicle. They're very tight. It comes off, and then that transforms into an animal, a robotic animal, and then you're left with this sort of roller skate of a vehicle with a short cab at the front and a flatbed, and yeah, and this thing can then clip on the back of the robot mode, and in the show it gives them power-ups because it's got that little thing that goes through there. But that's Night Hopper. But we're here to talk about Red Weiler. Now, Night Hopper came out in sort of like the Wave 2 figures, because they released them in like a couple of like 3 short waves in the tail end of last year. Nighthopper was in wave 2 with Max Dozer. Red Weiler was in wave 1 with Just Force. Now I haven't got Just Force yet. I'll be getting him next month. But anyway, Red Weiler. A boxy red fire engine. Looks pretty cool. It's red. It's got large black wheels. The wheels are right in the... It's the same with... The wheels are really in the corners of the vehicle mode. There's not much overhang on these vehicles. It's got this sort of ladder stroke snorkel thing on the top, which does extend, and it also rotates around. It's got like a spring-loaded detent at 180 degrees. Molded detail on the side. You can probably see there's sort of like there's hose detail there. There's like pumps and gauges and things. And there's a slot there, and they've got like grill detail here. It's got moulding detail for the door on the side. It's got like this sort of like what they call the checker plate, sort of step on the side. Go on the back. There's not much to see on the back. No painted lights or anything. It's got like little jacks in the corners, I suppose, which go down when they're using the crane. On the front, you've got large black cab windows with moulded windscreen wipers, and you've got some lights and an unpainted grille and a silver front bumper. Does have some weapon storage. You look underneath, you've got this axe. Now when it's stored away, you've got this little orange bit sticking out the front, but you can take that off and it looks a lot better. But also I've noticed there's some slots in the side, which the axe, if you split it in two, it's got some pegs on it, which will the axe can plug in the side like that, or you can have it the other way around, so it plugs in like that. So you can plug the axe in the side of the vehicle mode if you want, rather than plugging it in underneath. That's neither here nor there really. But no, it's a big heavy vehicle. It plugs together very well. Nice large pinned wheels. It rolls extremely well. Obviously you've got robot junk underneath, but it's a fire engine. It's a very boxy fire engine. It does what it says on the tin, and yeah, it's also got like the Samba Gimmick thing on the top, which has got some lights on it. So it's got yeah, it's got the flashing lights on the top there as well. So yeah, decent enough alt mode, very good, like it a lot. Now, this being a Samba vehicle, the back, I suppose, looking at proportionality, you've got this bit which is the robot and this bit which is the Samba animal. So if I take the Samba animal off, like so, like Nighthopper, you're left with a flatbed truck. You've got a small cab and a flatbed. Same as Nighthopper. So ends up the same. Now, the gimmick, the Samba Gimmick in the vehicle mode. You've got his Samba chunk that plugs on there. You can take it off, and I can get Nighthopper Samba chunk and plug it on like that. So we've got a firebulance, and it also works the other way around with Nighthopper. I can put Red Weiler's chunk on there, and then you've got an ambulance engine. So yeah, this is the main point of the gimmick, is this interchangeability between these chunks, and that's what attracted me to it. There's quite a lot of interchangeability between them. You can get some really interesting looking robots with the this gimmick, and that's what really appealed this line to me and made me decide to want to go all in with this toy line and buy all the figures from it. So anyway, right, so we take the Samba chunk off, and this becomes an animal. Now, out of all the Samba animals that they've done, this guy is the guy that I like the least. And his name is Longo, and he turns into an elephant, or pachyderm. Now, also there's an extra accessory here. There's this black thing which plugs in the back. Now it opens up, and it's an additional accessory, and it's got some sort of like moulded tools inside. It's got like some bolt croppers and some rope and what look like some carabiner clamps or something, and some sort of loop. But that's an extra accessory you can put off to the side, because you don't really need it with this guy. So transforming Longo. So folds. Right, you get these things and put them out to the side. Hang on, you've got to fold that round, then fold that down. That becomes his trunk. And then you've got the ears, and then you've fold these panels down on the side. You flip them up, flip them round, and then fold these panels down the side for his legs. And you can also take the fire axe, split it in two, and there's these little holes in the top, and they plug in there. And that is Longo in his animal mode, his Samba animal. Now, does that look like an elephant to you? I mean, admittedly, he's got the big flappy ears, he's got some tusks, and he's got a trunk, and he has kind of got some little yellow slitty eyes there. So he's got the front of him kind of looks like an elephant. I mean, these things you can either take it or leave it, but you're supposed to stick them in there. But it's when you come around the side, and you've got these panels here. Now they are supposed to be his legs, and they're just flat panels. I mean, if you look, you can see there is some moulded detail in there to suggest that there's some legs here, and it looks like they've got caterpillar tracks on. And in the show, when this guy, he almost like flaps them like wings and sort of flies around. And yeah, out of all the Samba animals that they've done, this is probably the most disappointing, mainly because he doesn't look a lot like the animal that he's supposed to be. I mean, yeah, okay, he's got the front end does kind of look like an elephant, but when you get round the side and the back, it's like, what the hell am I looking at? I'm just looking like a box that's standing on a couple of flappy panels. I don't really care for it much, to be honest. So, no disrespect to Longo, but he doesn't really work that well for me. And I think out of all the Samba animals, he's by far, in my opinion, the most disappointing out of the bunch. I mean, for instance, just as an example, let's have a quick look at View birds. Just transform them quickly. I mean, View bird, that looks like an owl. It's got wings, it's got legs, and it's also, if I can remember how to get it, it's also got a tail. Oh, yeah, it's got a tail as well. So that is a very successful looking, animal or bird. Put the head back. There we go. So I like that. I like View bird. View bird actually looks like an owl, whereas Longo, doesn't look much like an elephant to me. So yeah, I know some people. I might get some criticism in the comments for this, but yeah, Longo just doesn't work. I think out of all the Samba animals, he's the least likeable, or the one I like the least out of all the Samba animals that I've seen. So anyway, Longo. Now on to the main event, Mr. Weiler himself. As you can see, they have to cram all the robot parts into this slimline or cut down vehicle mode, and that in itself leads to certain aesthetic issues with the robot. They tend to be very stumpy and chunky because of this reason, and this guy, he does suffer from that problem, but I think he carries it off pretty well, all things considered. So to transform him, you can split these panels, move them up, then fold them round, and that's the arms. And then the legs, fold them out, split, and then you get these windscreen bits, and they flip round to form boots or shoes, his toes, and you're pretty much done. I mean, okay, you can bring his elbows forward. And there is Red Weiler in his robot mode, and I think he looks pretty damn cool. I mean, he's got a pretty cool head sculpt, even though mine has got some really ugly paint blemishes on it. I don't know whether you can see that. Hang on, let's try and get the autofocus. You can probably see it's got, you know, some nasty paint blemishes around that yellow crest that's on the top of his head. So yeah, that's unfortunate, but the rest of him's all right. He's got these these light detail up here. He's got he looks like he's wearing a mask and a face shield. He even looks like he's got light piping, even though the light sort of things are around the top of his head, so it doesn't really catch the light that well, which is a shame. Yeah, he's got his Carbot sigil there. Really chunky legs, and of course, obviously, the forearms are made out of vehicle chunks. So his fist is buried in here. So I think he's got these really chunky fists. I do like the boots though. I love these really chunky sort of boots or toes that he's got. They look really cool. I really appreciate that look. He's a good looking robot. I mean, the black, the silver, the orange, and the red. It's a good breakup of colours on the vehicle mode. Aesthetically, he looks pretty good. Now, articulation quickly. He's got a head rotation. The shoulders are ratcheted there. You've got this joint which allows you to move it up, move it down, get some motion. No bicep swivel. You got elbow which goes to 90 degrees, nothing at the waist, hips, backwards, forwards, outwards, and then solid knee that goes back to 90 degrees, and then that's it. That's all there is. Hasn't got any more additional. Oh yeah, also yeah, forgot. Yeah, it's a Carbot figure. They do no thigh swivels. I forgot about that. So yeah, basic articulation, pretty squat, sort of chunky design. Quick size comparison. There he is next to Combiner Wars Megs. So he's a bit short for a leader class figure. Let's have a quick look at what's her face. So there he is next to Nighthopper. So shoulders give him a little bit extra height, but Nighthopper's got a bit more width going on. Anyway, right, so now the Samba Gimmick. Obviously, this guy turns into a robotic animal, but it also turns into a Samba chunk, which then plugs onto the back of the robot and powers it up in the show. So Longo, converting back to his Samba mode, remove the axes. No, I don't think they go up. They fold around. Basically, you take it back to its box mode. then you take it, you plug it in, and you do this. And there he is. There's Red Weiler all piled up with his Samba animal, and this is his Red Weiler's Samba mode. So by plugging Longo on the back, he then becomes powered up, and obviously Longo's got his water cannon. He can, I think in the show, he can shoot water out of this. It's got a little bit of movement. Now another thing with Longo, all the other Samba animals, they have these hollow heads which then go over the top of the robot mode head to like a helmet or a hat. Longo doesn't do that. He's the only one that doesn't. All the others do that, as far as I know. He just has this panel that sort of folds down over the top of his head, but it doesn't actually go over the top of it like the what's-its. I mean, if I take Longo off and put MView Bird on, just have to reconfigure MView Bird back into something like the Samba chunk. So, and again, this is the interchangeability of the Samba toy line. You put MView Bird on the back, and then you bring down. You put the helmet. The animal head goes over the top of the helmet, and as you can see, MView Bird has given now, Red Weiler, whatever powers. Oh yeah, there we go. Given MView's powers. So that goes through like that, and then you can just swap them over and put Longo back on, and there we go. And that's the gimmick. I mean, Longo, you can take Longo off and plug Longo into the back of Night Hopper, like so. And there you go. And that's the beauty of this Samba gimmick, is the interchangeability of these Samba chunks, and they're all interchangeable. Wow, with the exception of the combiner. I don't think they're interchangeable with the combiner. The combiner definitely hasn't got this feature. The King Guider or Cool Guider and Hot Guider, they haven't got that gimmick. They have got Samba animals, but they haven't got the that. But anyway, yeah. So there he is. He's in his what's-it mode. The axes, he can put them in each of his hands, like so. So he's got a couple of fire axes, or you can combine the axes together to make one double axe. They combine together to make a double axe, which he can wield quite happily. And then there's this toolbox. It has a handle which can come out, which he can hold. And I assume, being a rescue vehicle, if he comes to a certain incident, he gets out his toolbox and can get rescue equipment out of his toolbox to aid with any rescues that he might be involved with. And I assume that's what the whole point of this is. Other than that, it just fills a void in the up mode. So yeah, kind of a pointless gimmick, really, that thing. I suppose it's the same with the syringe for Night Hopper, which just fills in the back doors on the ambulance mode, and then it sort of plugs on the side of MView Bird's head. Bit weird, but there we go. So there we go. Red Weiler. He's pretty cool. Decent looking bot. One of the first wave of Samba figures to come out, as part of the Hello Carbot Samba toy line. Very chunky. All these Samba figures, like I said, because they have this Samba gimmick where this huge chunk of the vehicle mode comes off to form the Samba animal, you're left with this very sort of anemic vehicle that's got a short cab and a flatbed, and they have to get the robot out of that, and because of that, they've got kind of chunky, stunted proportions, and it's a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. I mean, yeah, he's got very short sort of forearms and chunky fists, but I do like his big chunky boots though. It does restrict his, sort of articulation a bit. I mean, when he's got the Samba chunk on, he can't really bring his legs back that far. But he's got lots of nice clicky ratitude going on, and yeah, he's an okay figure. He's all right. He's okay. Like I said, Longo is probably, in my thing, that not exactly the worst thing about this figure, but the thing that the minor disappointment. Well, I'm not a fan of Longo. Let's put it that way. I think Longo, like I said, he's not the best. In my opinion, he's probably the worst out of all the Samba animals, and he comes bundled with this guy. So the figure's pretty good. Longo, not so much. But yeah. So that's been my review of Hello Carbot Samba Red Weiler. He's got a very cool name. I really like this Samba Gimmick. It's pretty cool. This version's a bit of a mixed bag. Some things about it are good, other things not so good. It is what it is, but still, it's a big, chunky, heavy toy. It's got great playability with the Samba Gimmick. I intend to buy the entire line, so even though there's some figures in the line I really would rather not have to buy, but I've decided to go all in with this toy line, and I'm going to buy them anyway. So yeah, so that's my review today. A bit of a last minute rush because I'm doing this like late at night. Obviously to get it out for 9:30 tomorrow morning. I'm doing this on Friday nights, and I like to put my reviews out on like 9:30 on a Saturday morning. So that's been me, TFR Wilderness. Hope you've enjoyed this review. Another review coming next week. Another KTRT I'll be doing a review on. Look forward to that. So with that said, I'll catch you all later. Ta-da!